Today's video is aimed mostly at those of you who are much like me with our health issues. And I know now that there are many of you out there. I just want to share with you some information that you may not already know, or if you do, it just reminds you that you're not alone. I'm just going to quickly talk about signs and symptoms of a burnout or a crash, what happens prior to, and the recovery that we have afterwards. Normally for me, when I know I've had a crash, I can go and have a massage and I usually feel a whole lot better by day 3 after that. But this time has not been the same. It's actually a week tomorrow and I'm still struggling. Not quite as bad as before, but still struggling. So let's go and get into this information that we really probably don't care to know, but can be very useful too. This video is for my lovely ladies who also suffer with health problems like I do, be they physical or mental, be they autoimmune, chronic pain conditions, central sensitization. There's a whole array of health problems that will cause a similar end result if we're not careful, and that being burnout or a crash. A lot of people in the world will not understand what these things are and will never experience them because some people's nervous systems are just not like ours. What has happened with ours is an illness, an injury, an autoimmune disease or something of that nature has sensitized our nervous system, so it chronically lives in a sensitized state. So overdoing things, and we all have our own levels, can cause a crash. And then when you start getting stressed or worried about all these weird symptoms, it can cause a cycle. All right, so you have a crash, you start stressing and worrying, you increase the symptoms because of the stress hormones happening in your body. And then the cycle will go on and on. Then you'll end up at the doctors and you'll say, I don't know what's wrong with me, I'm really scared. What it is a lack of understanding and knowledge and educating about what the crash really is. When you know what the crash and the burnout really is, you don't need to worry. It's not nice. And it's really irritating and annoying and frustrating. But if you just know a few simple things, your brain won't go into overdrive and cause the whole situation to escalate. So that's what I want to kind of explain here today. So you know what a crash is, and you know if you just take the time and go through what we have to go through, which is pretty awful, I might add, you'll come out the other end sooner than if you got stressed about what's happening to my body. Essentially, a crash or burnout is a severe decline in the ability to function either physically or mentally. Now, a crash can either creep up on us or it can just happen all of a sudden, and it feels like it happens out of nowhere. But in actual fact, if you were able to take notice of the symptoms that had been going on, you would realize it wasn't all of a sudden at all. Most of us push through those initial symptoms because we think, okay, I'll just go along. I can manage these symptoms as I still do things until you get to the point where you can't. Plus, you also continue to look normal. Maybe fatigued and tired in your physical demeanour, but what's going on inside is a whole lot different to what people can see on the outside. Like you're looking at me right now and you think that I'm okay, but this morning I've had to medicate myself because just standing up gave me almost a panic attack. So I've spent the morning in bed. I've been taking medication just to calm everything down and keep on going so we can let the days pass. I really do need to read this one to you because it is warning signs prior to having a crash. All right, there's fatigue. That's the major number one. Start getting brain fog, not being able to concentrate so well, getting overwhelmed more easily than usual, headaches, muscle and joint pain. If you already live with pain, you'll find that your pain is exacerbated and it doesn't really get helped by medication that much. You'll get dizziness. I'd get dizziness. I know that once I don't have dizziness, I'm on the homeward run. Lightheadedness goes hand in hand. You're feeling faint. I get that too. When I stand up, I literally need to just sit back down because I feel faint. So our blood pressure's a little bit haywire. Usually when you feel faint, when you stand up, you've had a blood pressure drop. Now, what can cause that? Your nervous system. You will find that your nervous system is at the bottom of all these signs and symptoms, okay? It's nothing severely wrong with you. You don't have cancer generally. It's your nervous system playing tricks on you. Now, we have sleep changes. Mine is always more. I just sleep so often and I wake up unrefreshed. And I know that when I wake up refreshed from a sleep that I'm starting to get better. Although my baseline for refreshed sleep is pretty low. Increase to your hypersensitivity. You're jumpy in the car again when you see brake lights at the front. You go into the supermarket and you need to do this and you're just so irritable and you need to get out of there and get away from all those stressors to your sensory system. So, feeling emotionally overwhelmed. Righto, I think you ladies, along with me, feel most of those symptoms, if not all of them and more. Because there's something else they didn't mention in there, and is nausea and the feeling like your legs are going to collapse. There's all sorts of things, little symptoms that you start to wonder what's wrong with me. Then if you keep on going past the physical symptoms and don't take notice and get some rest, and I mean good rest, not just one day, you then start to get mental health problems, being depression. Nowadays with my crashes, I don't get so much depressed. I get a little bit blue and a bit cranky with myself, but I do get worsening anxiety. I live with anxiety every day of my life since I've had surgery number 3 and 4 on these nerves. That caused a real problem. Anyway, and the thing is, the exacerbation will bring on the panic attacks. I also live with those, not as severe as before, but certainly now with this crash, I feel like I'm going to have a panic attack all day, every day. That's just how it feels. So, you know, when you get to that point, you've gone a little bit too far over the line in the sand, and it's time to bring it all back. The hard thing is knowing when to bring it back so you don't reach that point. How on earth do we ever know? That's the $1 million question, isn't it? Now, I mentioned the other day on one of my videos about the way I can crave for carbohydrates in that period of time between being okay and going down and hitting a crash. I always need carbohydrates to keep me going because of my fatigue that I live with all day, every day. But it was more noticeable. I really noticed it this time, but I thought, I'll just get through this a little bit more. I'll just get to the end of this and then I'll have a rest. I was craving just milk and Scotch finger biscuits and crumpets and anything that could give me some fairly quick energy boost. So that is another one of the symptoms that wasn't mentioned before, but always shows up for me. The physiology is that your body perceives that you're in an energy deficit. So it craves for that instant hit. And you know what? Chocolate. Chocolate's a big one that works. It works an absolute treat. Some evenings when I'm really exhausted and I'm in a lot of pain, we will have some Toblerone because the chocolate makes me feel better. It, like the tea leaves, also works on your feel-good hormones. It's an actual scientific thing, evidence-based. So we drink tea and eat chocolate to keep going. When you're heading into a crash or a burnout, your blood sugar levels can change too. Again, that is adjusted by our nervous system. The nervous system is the absolute ruler of things that go on in our body. As we keep pushing and pushing through our imminent crash, we develop stress hormones, and stress hormones also call out for carbohydrate cravings. It can cause more fluctuations in our blood sugar levels, and I've tested this at work back when I was a nurse because it was go, 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 go all the time, and I was always on the edge of suffering from burnout. I would go and test my blood sugar level when I was feeling hypoglycemic, and lo and behold, I've had it down to 1 point something, 2 point something, 3 point something, really low blood sugar levels. So I would eat carbohydrate rich food to keep going in a job where you're practically running all day. I won't even go into nursing, and the demands that are placed on you physically and mentally are insane. But that's not the only job. I'm sure there's many, many jobs out there that place the same pressure on people, and they wonder why people break down. Because we're human. We're not robots. We have human physiology going on inside of us, and each person's physiology is different within a spectrum. Okay, so when you hit a crash or a burnout time and you're starting to get anxiety and you think, oh my goodness, what's wrong with me? Please know that that's a normal response to what's going on to a frazzled nervous system. Now, I can't and I won't go into explaining the anatomy and physiology of the nerves, but just know that they are at the basis of most of what's going on. Of course, go and check things out if you need to, but I'm just talking in general to you who get constant crashes and you know it's a cycle for yourself. You know what's happened in the past to make you like this. And it just keeps going on and on throughout our lives that we have to deal with and live with and work out. So the way to recover for me, like I said, is normally a massage. 3 days later, and I'm often bouncing out of my skin, feeling really quite good and wanting to get underway. This time, not so much. So I have to go through the rest that my body is making me have. It's not nice rest either because it's such a fatigued rest. So I'm about to show you in this video some of the things I do once I can get up a bit, and that way I don't feel like I'm missing out or I'm so far behind or, just not being able to do what I love to do each day. So my advice to you for recovery is rest, rest, and rest. And when I mean rest, days of rest in bed, sleeps, lots of nana naps. Sleep is the best thing for your nervous system to calm down and reset. Once you feel like you can hop up a few times a day, you can then start doing some active rest, is what I call it. So I'm going to show you on this video a few of my active rest activities. They're just small crochet related activities that just keep me ticking along. Maybe you would be able to knit and crochet while you're laying down and resting. I can't because most of my pain is here, down my arms. So in those times, I need to rest my whole body. But the things that you can do are find some nice things, like sitting outside with a cup of tea if the sun's nice for you where you are. At the moment, it's a beautiful time of the year and I can get out the back and watch the sky and listen to the birds, which is really lovely. If the day is nice enough, I'll come and sit on the lounge outside and bring a little something to do to pass the time while I'm able to look at the beautiful blue sky and all the trees that surround us. I'm yet again undoing another one of these panels for Emmeric's little baby blanket. This one, when I lined it up with the others, was just too wide. It just didn't look right. So this blanket's been true to form and bothering me in so many ways till the very end. So I'm just going to sit out here and frog this section so I'm ready to go again. When frogging this hand-dyed yarn in sock weight, you'll find that it actually catches in some stitches and you just need to give it that little bit of extra tug to get it going again. That's quite a normal and natural thing to happen with this yarn. If it happens to you, don't worry, don't think there's anything really wrong with it. It's just the way the wool scales catch on with each other, and that is the beauty of the wool. That is what gives the wool the good qualities that it has. It's just not fantastic for frogging, but that's okay. Slowly but surely we'll get there. Spread it out and then give it a tug. And we've got another one. Spread it out, give it a tug. Another one. There we go. Now we're on our way. This winter time is just the time that I love. Anyway, I've gone off topic. Another thing I love to do is walk in here and just look around. It's actually just so nice to even just walk into my craft room, just to stand and take a look at the things in my cupboard, at the sunlight coming through the windows, my comfy chair, blankets, and all my gorgeous yarn that just makes me feel good to look at. I love looking outside the window at the plants. You know, just gentle things that bring positivity into your system. You might like to read. I don't like reading anymore. I can't concentrate, there's the thing. But I do enjoy watching videos of other crocheters, and you'll see that I do that, and I'm not going to watch all those experts and gurus who don't realise what they do, but they make me feel worse about myself. So they can go. I'm done with those now. You can daydream. You can daydream about things ahead that you want to make, and I'm doing a little bit of that myself. I'm beating myself up that I'm behind in projects that I want to do with you, but I have to let that go. Because if I keep beating myself up, I'm just going to keep stressing myself out. We will get there. Other things you can do are to get outside. Just do a little bit of gardening. It doesn't have to be much. Just get your hands in the soil. Get your hands dirty. There's something really, really good about that. It's a very healing process to watch something that you've planted to grow. Just do whatever active rest activities that you can think of. And that's the way I make my way through. Just to do one thing each day until you can then start building on that and you start feeling stronger, you feel clearer in the head, and then you know you're right to go again. Now I'm going to pop up some videos of me and what I've been doing while I've been impatiently waiting to get better. Yes, impatient. It's patience with a little bit of attitude. I am being patient, but I don't like it very much. However, let's go and see what my little active rest activities are. My active rest always begins with a few days in bed, just resting and sleeping and dealing with the pain and the other symptoms that come along with a crash. Then once I can get up and do a little something, I alternate that with resting, but still having a solid nana nap every afternoon. And of course it involves drinking lots and lots of tea. Now, other than the ritual of drinking tea, there are scientific reasons why tea helps us. Tea leaves contain an amino acid called L-theanine. Now, this creates in our body the same feeling that we would get from meditation. The L-theanine helps to produce the feel-good hormones called serotonin, dopamine, and GABA. Not only is tea a meditative process in itself, it does also help to reduce our stress hormones. And I bet you've heard of that cortisol one before now. Tea does contain some caffeine, but that L-theanine actually slows down its uptake. Therefore, you prevent the caffeine crash, the jitters, and the anxiety that some people can get with coffee. After the few days in bed, I find that it's always good to have a change of scenery. So I've spent a few days on the lounge watching nice videos, not the gurus, and replying to you all. I was only going to reply in emojis, but I found that I was able to manage to write the words that I wanted to write. To thank you so much for your support and kindness and guidance. You ladies are just amazing. You gave me so much clarity, and that's all I need now to be on the straight and narrow. So while I'm here on the lounge, I noticed that I'm still using store-bought blankets. They're quite old, but you know, I don't like to throw things away. But I think it's about high time that this lounge room got some handmade crochet blankets. Don't you? I almost feel like a hypocrite. I've got all these blankets, but none of them actually match my lounge. So that's going to be a long-term goal coming up as well.
Your knitting and crochet. If you happen across this channel for the very first time, I have set this channel up for
96 times 143. Now to find the colours for this one as well. It's pretty, I really like this one. Thanks, Mr. Gumnut. Say hi to everybody.
Well, hello everyone.
Here.
Hello.
Hey there.
Just
Dropping off a cup of tea.
keeping you hydrated.
Thank you.
Keep up the great work.
Bye.
Bye.
He says he doesn't want to be on film, but secretly I'm sure he loves every minute of it. Oh, he makes a hot cup of tea. Too hot to drink. Now, the Triangle Trails blanket. We haven't spoken about this for quite some time. If you like the look of this blanket, I have tutorials which show you how to make it step by step, and I also have an e-workbook. If you would like one, just send me an email or pop my email address here and down in the description, and I will send you a workbook back. I love this blanket. This blanket just came to me really easily. It was just one of those ideas that worked out. It just worked out seamlessly. There were no major issues, which was really, really nice. Now, you know what? I'm not going to do all the details because I've got it all detailed in my videos. That was 854. I'll measure it in length and width. I've read a book in the past, and I think it was called More Help for Your Nerves. It has a mantra, and it's called Face, Accept, Float, and Let Time Pass. So what we have to do is face, okay, we've got ourselves into a burnout situation again. Accept the awful symptoms that come and go that are really very unpleasant, not very nice at all. Get your way through them the best way that you know how. Face, accept, float. We have to think float, dropping our shoulders while these awful symptoms are happening. Float your way through. Keep your chin up. I know it's really hard, but this mantra really does work. And then let time pass. Because if you're not pressurizing yourself to get better by a certain day, letting time pass naturally allows you to get better quicker than you would if you're stressing and churning about it. Okay, so face, accept, float, let time pass, and then join back in with us when you're ready. And I'll do the same thing too, okay? When you're in a flared up situation, it's always a great idea to back off on the coffee. If you can do that, because it does tend to increase my anxiety and has started to flick off a few panic attacks, which I haven't had like that for a long time. So coffee's not good just at the moment. Far too much stimulation for the nervous system. Now, there is one more thing, and that is the good old hot water bottle. You just can't underestimate the benefit of the hot water bottle. I use it every morning as soon as I wake up, on my right shoulder, take my tablets, wait a while for this to start working, and then that helps me to get going in my day. Now, if you have pain in certain places, you can just pop your hot water bottle wherever that may be, your hip, your shoulder, anywhere where it's just in situ. But when you've got all over body pain, you wonder where on earth would you put the hot water bottle. But you need to put it in the exact place that I do. The place where there is a nervous system highway just here at the base of your neck and the front of your shoulder. That helps calm down your whole body. Now, in this area of our body, we have 3 different types of nerves. First of all, there is the motor nerve. So it works on making your limbs work and your neck move and your chest breathe. This bundle of motor nerves goes all the way down to your belly. And then there's another bundle for the lower end of your body. We have the sensory nerves, so the nerves that pick up sensations when you touch something hot and pull your hand away. Sensory nerves keep us safe from doing things that we wouldn't otherwise be able to detect that were not great for us to do. Now, the third lot of nerves that are in this area are the ones that control our autonomic nervous system. Now, our autonomic nervous system is the one that I've been talking about throughout all of this video that brings us undone. The autonomic nervous system works on all the bodily functions that we don't have control over, like breathing, digestion, urination, vision, opening and closing our pupil so we can see things better, all the workings on the inside of our body, which just keep on ticking over by themselves. They're actually not doing it all by themselves, really, because it's these nerves that are controlling all the things that we need to stay alive as a human. Now, within the autonomic nervous system, there's 2 other systems. One is the sympathetic nervous system and the other is the parasympathetic. The sympathetic nervous system is the one that involves fight or flight. So it's the system that we tend to live in more than we really should. It's a really difficult thing to get under control, and there are many ways to work around that with the relaxation and calming and meditation, and people do yoga, people do all sorts of different things to calm the sympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic nervous system is the state in which many people aim to be, because when you're in that system, you are resting and recovering. You are having true internal relaxation. It's a tricky one, the parasympathetic. Rest and renew, I think they call it. But it is one that most of us in the modern day don't spend enough time. The activities that we love to do, like crochet, knitting, embroidery, painting, working in your garden, are all things in which we are able to get in the zone. Now, getting in the zone is a very good thing for our mental health because it produces the alpha waves. Now, when you talk about alpha waves in your brain, they are the waves which cause calm. They call it the alert wakefulness phase, but it's also the phase that if we can spend more time there than not, it is really, really good for us. And that's why all these different hobbies and crafts are so good for our mental and our physical health and for our communion with other people, the togetherness that we have as well. The list is numerous for the reasons why we should do these crafts. There's one caveat. Sometimes the crafts can make us a little bit irritable and cranky if things aren't going right. And that's okay. That's all part of it. Once you get over that, get back on your roll. And I guess you can call it, I don't know whether it's going to be mindful or mindless. It's mindless crocheting when you don't have to think too hard about it and you can just be in that mindful rhythm. The two words for me work together, when in actual fact I think people mean them to be different things. Anyway, if we're mindless, we're most likely in the zone, and if we're mindful, we're thinking about what's going on in front of us. We're thinking about the here and the now, the every little stitch. So I say that both states are a good state to be in. One other helpful therapy is the good old ice pack. Now, I use the ice pack at times when I have done too much crochet for my nerves or too much writing on my phone, too much editing, anything that's made my nerves flare up and made me feel really hot. You'll see I often have red cheeks. The redder they are, the more I've overdone my nerves. Oftentimes I'll get the cold pack out and I'll just lay there with it. I'll put it right on that nerve area. I'll put it on my cheek, and another place which helps is right behind your ear. If you ever want to try that, you will see I can feel something happening already. It just cools down the angry nerves. Angry because I pushed them too far. Now, remembering that everything I've said doesn't necessarily work for everyone because we're not all the same. I'm just throwing my ideas at you just in case they're things that you haven't thought of before. And if you are a fully well and able-bodied person and you've watched this, you might have a little more understanding of other people around you, and maybe you can suggest some ideas to them and they would be ever so thankful for that, I'm sure. Now, just to finish up, I'm going to touch on this thing called fascia. Fascia. We have fascia around all of our organs. It is the connective tissue that holds us together. Now, when you have a sensitive nervous system and you overuse those nerves, they will send out messages to the fascia and to the muscles to tighten up and develop knots. Why they have to do that, I don't know, but I think that that is a protective manner. It's the nerves trying to protect an area in case danger is coming. Because let's face it, a lot of the things that happen in our body are there purely to protect us. They're not necessary anymore because we aren't living in caves and we aren't being chased by woolly mammoths. But we still have all those same functions that the humans did way, way, way back then. Okay, so we have to deal with them in a different way because they're not going to stop. Their job is to protect and look after the body that they're in. So when I talk about the fascia and the muscles tightening up and developing knots, what happens is the fascia is on each side of the muscle, so it's around the whole muscle. The muscle knots on the inside, and then the nerves that run in between it all get affected by the fascia being tight. So they get pulled and tightened as well. And that's when you'll start to get anxiety as a symptom. Anxiety as a physical symptom. Not the anxiety because you're emotionally distressed or scared or something's going on. It is anxiety as a physical symptom because your body has gotten into such an uptight, tightened up, knotted state that the nerves get involved as well. So that's why massage has always worked for me. It eases out those knots. It eases out all the tension that I can't do myself. I will do rolling exercises on the floor. It just isn't enough. You just need that human touch. Someone who knows what they're doing, preferably. And usually within 3 days, I'm so much better. This time, I think what happened was I left it far too long in between massages, and I'd already got myself into a flared up state. Then I had the massage on top and it's flared me up even more. So I'm not back to my baseline just yet, which is unfortunate because it's been a week today. Anyway, fingers crossed. What you have to do when you're in this sort of state and you're thinking, oh, this is it for me now, just remember all the times where you were feeling better than you are now. My dear neighbour next door said, if you can feel better like you have done in the past, it is always possible that it will happen again. And I like those words. I remember those words all the time. So I'm hanging off those words this time. I'm a bit brighter. Yeah, I am, but I'm physically exhausted. When I stand up, we just went down the street, I just can't stand up for long. I need to bend over and I'm still weak. I'm not right, but I'm really looking forward to the time when I am because, oh, my mind is getting fuller by the day. Oh, you girls, I can't wait to get back and crochet with you. Anyway, this kind of leads me to another topic that I'd like to talk about one day, the benefits of crochet. Not just all the things that you see on the surface. We'll get a little bit down and deep into the nitty-gritty of it because I really love it there. I love information. I love knowing how things work, and I'm loving sharing it with you. If you have any questions or queries, feel absolutely free to say it in the comments or send me an email if there's something I can clarify with you. I would be more than happy to do so. I really hope that some of this video has been helpful for you, even if it's just the fact that you now know that you're not alone. Validation is such an important thing, and it actually helps you to relax, I find. So, from one fellow spoonie to another, I will bid you all farewell and see you again really soon. Bye for now, everyone.